Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Let me start by apologizing for my voice. I have a cold. Now back to the story. My husband and I have been married for 2 years, together 4, and I am pregnant. I met my husband when I was originally a friend of my now brother-in-law. My best friend had been dating my brother-in-law for 6 months. Everyone thought they were good together and they seemed happy. I was really apprehensive about them dating at first. I didn't think husband and family would try to force me to go no contact with her. I thought it would just be awkward. Brother-in-law fell for her very hard. He's never wanted kids, and all of a sudden he was talking about wanting babies, marriage, and all of that. She seemed just as happy with him, but just talked about minor annoyances. She didn't tell me before breaking up with him because she didn't want me to tell my husband. Her reasons were that they had many differences and she just wasn't sure about their relationship like he was and decided to end it. I believe that is fully her right. When she broke up with him, all hell broke loose. He came to our house crying and everyone was trying to console him. After a few days, this turned to anger at her. They all talked badly about her anytime we were around anyone from his family. I told my husband from the start that I am not getting involved, and it was honestly really stressful. A few weeks go by and she posted a pic of her and some guy. This clearly meant she was the devil and was cheating on him the entire time. She says she never cheated on him, and I believe her. A few days later, I went out with her for a few hours, which my husband knew I was doing. When I got home, he blew up at me and it was like I was talking to a different person. I told him that I really don't believe that she cheated on him and told him that it's not fair when she didn't do anything wrong. I told him that she had every right to decide who she wants to spend her life with. I would also like to add that I cautioned against this whole thing to the both of them, and now here we are. I told him he can't expect me to just drop my best friend. He said that these types of friendships are toxic and childish. He said, who cares about friends, and that they are my family and this should be an easy choice. He's basically making me choose, which is not really a choice. He implied I probably knew she was cheating and that they usually hang out together. I have never cheated on anyone in my entire life and despise cheating, not to mention I am his wife and literally growing his child in my body, so this really offended me and we got into a massive fight. Now I have my in-laws blowing up my phone and they're all angry at me and pressuring me to drop her. They all see this as a sort of betrayal from me. My husband and I barely talked the last 3 days. I really don't know what to do. It would be one thing if she actually cheated on him, but she didn't, so now I feel like I'm in an impossible position. Edit. Not going to drop my friend. Thanks, guys. It's crazy to me that they're acting so intense when the relationship only lasted 6 months. That's nothing. Your husband's family's fixation with her is creepy. It's not like she was your brother-in-law's wife. She dated him for 6 months. Your husband has no right to tell you who to be friends with, and your friend did nothing wrong. In terms of his toxic family members, block them and they won't be able to blow up your phone anymore. They're clearly not stable people anyway, and as for your husband, are you sure he's really the one? If you let them control you on this, they will continue to do so until they control everything you do. This behavior is nothing but red flags. I would focus on the fact that he's offending you by suggesting that you would hang out with or cover up for a cheater. He's impugning your character with zero evidence. This would be my hill to die on. For anyone else in the family who mentions it, I would say, I've yet to see any evidence that she has ever cheated on anyone in her life. But if you really believe she's a cheater, then you must also believe she did him a favor by breaking up with him, because you wouldn't want him to be with a cheater. Either way, it has nothing to do with me, so please stop bringing it up. I am finding that I'm really stressed by this situation. We've been together for 4 years. If he were just blowing off steam and blaming me, I would just ignore it, but he actually seems to believe that I'm in the wrong for not helping him out of situations that he's put himself in, and even mentions it much later. It's like he rewrites history. I live by myself for now, and he lives with his 18-year-old daughter. She'll be going away to school, and over the next year, we'll probably move in together. He's brilliant in a lot of things, but he's terrible at everyday life skills. He has depression and ADHD, and I completely understand, but where I start losing empathy is that he refuses to listen to me or even consider that I'm much better than him at planning some things. He's currently in school. He was working a very good job before but decided to go back to school to move up. I won't bore you with all the financial details, but several months ago he started to run out of money. His parents have been lending him money. They do have it to lend, but it's always a bit at a time and it's very stressful. I've helped him a lot, but I'm finding it hard to continue with that. He's in his exams this week and next. This is the important part. Over the past month, I was very concerned that he wouldn't have enough money to carry him through and he wouldn't have the bandwidth to be trying to study for exams and get money at the same time. Many times I've pushed him to talk to his parents to have a clear conversation to see if they could get him money to tie him over. He kept saying they agreed, but I was nervous and kept asking him to be sure. They ended up getting him some money, but certainly not enough. And so now he's upset because he doesn't have enough money to go back and forth to school or buy food, etc., etc. And this week I'm busy with work, so he's mad at me that I can't drop everything to drive him, or that I can't make money magically appear, etc. He says I let him down. He says this a lot, but I try to warn him of impending doom, LOL, and he brushes me off. I do love him, and he does have a lot of good qualities, but this particular one is incredibly frustrating and upsetting. And no matter how much we discuss it, he can't see it. He will forevermore think that I have let him down during a very stressful time when he's trying to pass exams. Is this something couples counseling can help? This man will turn you into his mother so fast your head will spin as soon as you move in together. He's 45 and surprised gas costs money. Girl, if he hasn't grown up yet, he doesn't intend to. Not being able to plan is an ADHD thing. Blaming someone else for your own lack of planning is a character flaw. I have ADHD, and I get how difficult it is to have the emotional bandwidth, focus, and understanding of the multiple steps and dependencies that you have to consider when completing a complex task, like, well, life. I wouldn't ever consider that my inability to complete these steps is anyone's fault but my own. It's something we usually have a lot of shame about, actually. I can see where he might have so much shame about constantly effing up that he wants to blame someone else, but actually doing so is where the character flaw comes in. This sounds a lot like emotional abuse, to be honest. He's not a good person, and you shouldn't tolerate this behavior. It isn't going to get better when you move in. It'll just be more your fault that the house is messy and his laundry isn't done. He doesn't sound like someone who is coping well, and it's not likely that he'll be able to find a job right away or keep it for long because he will treat everyone at work the same way he treats you. Find someone who is capable of managing his own life. He's 45 and you want to move in with him when he can't manage the basics? WTF, why would you do that to yourself? I'll try not to make this longer than it has to be since I feel nauseated about this discovery. I found out today that my new wife has had a relationship for years and her close friends also are aware of it. I ran into an old friend at the supermarket this morning that I had not seen in 7 years, and he was with a friend of his that I don't know. I explained that I was recently married and he wanted to see pictures, so I was showing him. His friend goes, "Is that Emma?" And I immediately confirmed the name, and that's who she was. His face went pale, and he told me that she was dating a friend of his for at least 2 years. I thought that he was mistaken, but he showed me pictures in his phone of the two of them together at a beach and kissing at a restaurant. I was so embarrassed and had to excuse myself, but exchanged numbers with my old friend and immediately went home. I texted him, and he said that his friend that knows my now wife contacted the guy she was dating and confirmed as much. The worst part about everything is that I found out that they had relations the day I proposed to her. And when she said that she went to Amsterdam for a funeral, it was actually just a vacation with him. So the issue now is that I'm married to this woman and love her, but cannot imagine staying with her after this. We just got married and I just paid earnest money for a house. We're renting now, no bank accounts together. No children that we share, but financially, how effed am I if I divorce her? I am by far the breadwinner in our relationship. I don't know what to do. I want to try couples therapy but just can't ever get over this betrayal. Any advice would be appreciated. Update. I had a talk with her when she got home. She swore up and down that they were lying, and when I provided proof in the pictures, she started crying hard and said that she has to leave. I didn't stop her. Update 2. After admitting to it, I am working with a lawyer to figure out next steps. It's damn near 7 p.m. now, so he'll follow up tomorrow. Going the route of annulment and not divorce. I have not spoken to anyone else about this because I'm embarrassed and I don't know how to tell them. I hoped it was a bad prank by a jealous person, but everything that I've been sent just validates how real it is. I'm going to Carmen's birthday brunch. Nope. She went to a pool party with him. I'm going to Amsterdam for a funeral. Nope. That was a vacation with them too. So many lies. Relations with this guy an hour before I proposed to her. Her ex-lover said she ghosted him since that day, likely because she was getting married, so she wanted to be serious. Found out the ex and her also spoke about ring shopping. Nah, this doesn't need couples therapy. This was dishonesty and betrayal at its finest, while you guys were pretty much tying the knot. It sucks that you had to find out this just as you guys got married and are preparing for the rest of your lives together. But I couldn't see myself marrying someone who kept all that from me just to marry me first. That's real scum of the earth there. I don't know how much you would lose in a divorce, but I recommend gathering as much evidence as possible. Timestamps, people who can corroborate all this. Get her out of there. You aren't financially ruined at all. You actually win and can have the marriage annulled. You have proof her affair started before you were married. Lawyer up and get the ball rolling. OP said, I want to try couples therapy. I'm sorry to say, but couples therapy is for relationship problems. You don't have a relationship problem. Your problem is that your wife is unspeakably selfish and dishonest. She lied to your face every day for 2 years, maybe more. Think about how much effort would need to go into a deception like this. If she's capable of deceiving you so thoroughly for so long, there's no way you'll ever be able to trust her again. Even if she cut things off, every time she was texting someone, you'd wonder. Every time she went on a trip without you, every time she came home late or went out with the girls. This kind of deception is poisonous. Talk to a lawyer and file for divorce. Don't let her manipulate you into staying. My fiancé and I have been together for 5 years and are planning a wedding next spring. We were very lucky to find a perfect house for us to someday start a family in and have only recently moved in. Her parents live in Florida but had plans to move closer to us in the Northeast in the coming years. We had discussed when purchasing the house that the extra rooms will come in handy in the meantime as a place for her parents to temporarily stay while they look for a home up near us. Unfortunately, her father passed away unexpectedly last spring, leaving her mother in an understandably bad place. Since his passing, she has stopped working, refuses to look for another job, refuses to drive, only leaves the house when absolutely necessary, and refuses to fly to come visit us. Money has, of course, become tight, relying only on Social Security, and now she wants to move in with us. My fiancé has not made any promises, but has strongly hinted that this would be okay in conversation with her mother. She has already offered to take some of her mother's extra furniture to put in our spare room as it won't fit in her current apartment. I, however, am very against the idea of her staying with us permanently for a multitude of reasons. First, I value our privacy and solace of our house and do not want to have my mother-in-law constantly there. Second, I also feel like we'll lose a lot of intimate time. Third, her relationship with her mother already creates a lot of stress in her, which sometimes gets directed towards me. There have been times where she will not talk with her for weeks due to the fighting between them. I cannot imagine them living together and me living in that environment. Fourth, despite being able-bodied, she refuses outright to look for a job and would likely not be leaving the house or contributing financially at all. She's also terrible with finances. Fifth, we have a 1-year-old dog. Her mother is deathly afraid of dogs. I love dogs and would love to have more someday. Sixth, Mother-in-law's views on raising children and parenting are vastly different than ours. I'm afraid of how this would affect us attempting to eventually raise a child with her constantly there. 7th, in the 5 years we've been together, her mother has never once visited us. For all we know, she will hate it here anyway. Her main reason for wanting her mother to move in is a feeling of obligation. She also thinks that having her around for the first 2 months postpartum after someday having kids would be nice. States that she wants this regardless of what happens now. She does have 2 siblings, but neither are interested or in a position to support their mom. Any advice on how to approach this? I love my fiancé, but find this request to be too much and fear it will significantly harm our relationship. Do not let mother-in-law move in. Put your foot down. You would never get her out. Life with her in the house would be miserable. It's like she gave up and is guilting your wife into having her move in. Your wife will thank you someday. A 64-year-old woman is perfectly capable of working and taking care of herself. She will have to adjust her finances accordingly. I would never sacrifice my daughter's happiness to do this to her. I'm 66. No, I love you. I want to live my life with you. I will not sacrifice myself for your mother, and neither should you, and she shouldn't put you in a position to even consider it. This is the line in the sand. She doesn't move in, not even temporarily, because we all know that temporary will lead to a fight whenever you even slightly ask about her leaving. So no, this is the line. Make your choice, and if you choose your mother, it'll break my heart, but I won't burn both of us to keep her feeling toasty. You know, something light and cherry like that. Jokes aside, do not budge on this, OP. Her sense of obligation to her mother is pushing against her desire to live her own life, love you, or attain her dreams. There is an objectively wrong answer for her to make here, and if she does, you need to be the mature one and end the relationship. Your mother-in-law is severely depressed and needs help. I wouldn't let her move in because I doubt she'll ever move out. I would even think about postponing wedding for a bit. Talk to fiancé. She and her siblings should visit together for extended stay and help her restart her life. It's too daunting for mother-in-law on her own. They should reach out to friends, family, community, church, etc. to get friends to help mother-in-law adjust. Also, grief counseling. Maybe fiancé can set up and attend with her mom a few times. Then in 6 months or a year, wedding talks start again.